proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, we are.
Everyone here in the courtroom, everyone ready to go?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then you go ahead and be seated, and we will start with defense's case in chief.
Yes, Your Honor, at this time, the defense calls Danny Hoy to the stand. Jalissa Harris for the defense. May it please the court. Please introduce yourself, spelling your last name for the record.
My name is Danny Hoy. Hoy is spelled H-O-Y.
What do you do for a living?
I work at the Black Bear Casino as the head of security.
And what is your job as the head of security entail?
I mainly check the security cameras to make sure that nobody is cheating. I also break up fights whenever they go down. I also make sure that whenever there's celebrities there, there's no paparazzi.
As the head of the security of the casino, do you know the owner, Avery Bancroft?
Yes, I do know Avery Bancroft. I talked to him a lot about the security of the casino, as well as any incidents that may occur during that month.
And as the head of security, do you know the people that come into the casino?
Yes, I do know the regulars.
Do you know Chase Covington?
Yes, I do. Chase comes into the casino a lot and plays in the VIP room.
So is it normal for Chase to come to the Black Bear Casino?
Yes, definitely. If he would stop by once or twice every few weeks, he also knows the owner, my boss, Avery Bancroft. So they would have meetings sometimes.
Is it strange for Avery Bancroft and Covington to meet?
No, they actually met on April 12th and had a meeting about the proposal for the new casino.
And where did this meeting take place?
This meeting took place in room 312, which is a private suite.
And did you do anything to prepare for this meeting?
Well, sometimes people want privacy when they have meetings, so I made sure that the room was private with no cameras or electronics.
So did you work security for that meeting?
Yes, I did.
And who was on the list for that meeting?
It was Avery Bancroft, his assistant Corey Hyde, Mickey Keenan, and Chase Covington.
Did Chase Covington have a briefcase when he was in that meeting?
Yes, he did. I remember because I had to check it and make sure there were no electronics in there.
Okay, now Ms. Hoy, I want to talk to you about your job as security. You check the monitors, right, from
Yes.
the camera feeds?
Yes.
And can you see everyone on your security feed?
Not everyone. I would say about 98% of the casino is covered, however. There are a few blind spots on the casino floor, but only in the VIP area.
So as the head of security, do you have access to the VIP room?
Yes. I have access to every room in the casino, and I know where every security camera is at in the whole casino, too.
Would you recognize a picture of the VIP room if I showed it to you today?
Yes.
Let the record reflect I'm approaching the opposing counsel with defense A.
No objection, Your Honor.
May I approach the witness with the same? Ms. Hoy, what did I just hand you?
A diagram of the VIP room?
Is this a fair and accurate copy of the VIP room?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, defense moves to admit defense A into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
For a minute.
Would the bench like a copy?
Yes, please. This is defense one.
Yes. Please explain this diagram to the members of the jury.
Well, these are 6 tables that we have in the VIP room, and there's a fountain in the middle on the wall. The black spaces are the cameras, and the shaded area is the area that is filmed. Anything not in the shaded area is not covered by the cameras. So every table is completely covered by the camera except for this one.
Is there anyone that plays at that table a lot?
Yes, Avery Bancroft plays there all the time with his friend Chase Covington. That's why I didn't really press that hard about getting new cameras in, because the boss man was usually always around there, and we security on the floor watching the customers as well.
Were you working at the casino on April 16, 2015?
Yes, I was.
And did you see Avery Bancroft on the casino floor that day?
Yes, in the afternoon in the VIP room, I saw him on the monitor from the camera feeds.
Did you see Chase Covington on the casino floor that day?
Yes, I saw him as well in the VIP room with Avery Bancroft.
Did you see them carrying briefcases?
Yes, they did. They set them down and started playing blackjack at the center table, and after they were done, they left.
Now, Ms. Hoy, did you see Avery Bancroft or Chase Covington ever switch their briefcases?
No, I did not.
Did any of your staff on the floor report a switch of briefcases?
No, they did not.
When Mr. Bancroft left, did you see him carrying a different briefcase than what he had when you walked in?
No, I did not.
Thank you. At this time, I have no further questions.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
You may.
Ms. Hoy, when you were concerned about the security of the casino, is it true that you lied to Bancroft to get him to take you seriously?
Yes.
And on the list of concerns that you brought up with him, wasn't the lack of cameras on that list?
Yes.
And Bancroft told you that it was nothing to be concerned about.
Yes.
Objection. Yes, sir.
Response?
Withdrawn.
You're withdrawing that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Withdrawn. Sitting in the record.
But later that day, he came into your office so that way you guys could look at the security
Yes.
in the VIP room.
Yes.
And when you tried to talk about other issues, he was very clear when he said that he only wanted to talk about.
Objection. Hearsay.
Response?
I did not use a out-of-court statement, Your Honor.
Yes, you are. You're asking her, did he say something?
I said they talked about Your Honor.
So what was the end part of your question?
Said that he made it clear that he only wanted to speak about
Speak about
the VIP room.
who made it clear?
Bancroft, Your Honor.
So Bancroft made a statement that he only wanted to speak about the VIP room?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that would be a statement of Bancroft, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
That we have made out of court,
Yes, Your Honor.
for truth of the matter asserted?
Yes, Your Honor.
Would that make it hearsay?
Yes, Your Honor.
What was your exception to get that in?
I do not have one at the moment, Your Honor.
You want to confer with your colleague?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's a motion. I think it is, I think the trials are separate by the motion. At least there was argument on it. Are there two defendants? Oh, okay.
We've never done that before. Yeah, they are.
Your Honor,
But they choose one.
Yeah.
pursuant to Rule 802-3, then existing mental, emotional, and physical condition.
Of whom?
A statement of the defendant's then existing state of mind, such as a motive, intent, or plan, or emotional, sensory, or physical condition, such as mental feeling, pain, or bodily health, but not including a state of memory or belief to prove the fact remembered or believed unless it relates to the validity of the terms of the clearance will.
Do you have any response to that, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's your response to that?
Your Honor, for this exception to apply, they have to lay the exception that this statement was either motive, intent, or plan, Your Honor. And him saying that he wanted to talk about the VIP room does not fall under any of those exceptions.
So what an individual wants to discuss, you wouldn't say would fall under that person's state of mind?
Yes, Your Honor, it would.
You saying it would or it wouldn't?
It would.
It would fall under a person's state of mind?
Yes.
Then are you truly objecting, are you truly responding to the fact that he's saying it's the declarant's state of mind?
No.
So would you like to withdraw your objection?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, proceed.
When you tried to talk about other issues, you made it clear that you only want to talk about the VIP.
Yes.
You showed Mr. Bancroft a map of the VIP room and where the blind spots were in the room.
Yes.
You explained to Bancroft that there was no view under the center table.
Yes.
And when you asked him, Bancroft, okay, and the next day you saw Bancroft sit at the center table by the fountain.
Yes.
He had a briefcase with him, didn't he?
Yes.
But you have never seen Bancroft have a briefcase with him in that room previously.
No.
And you lost view of the briefcase under the table.
Yes.
You also saw the defendant, Chase Covington, come in with the briefcase,
Yes.
and his briefcase too disappeared.
Yes.
Yes. And Covington was only in the room for about 15 minutes.
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor, I just asked that this witness be excused,
Any excuse?
and may I retrieve previously omitted evidence, Your Honor.
Yes, you may.
I think it's in
You guys have any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the defense would like to call Allie Thomas to the stand. Cameron Wheeler for the defense. May I proceed?
You may.
Could you please state your name, spelling your last name for the record?
Yes, I'm Allie Thomas. That's Thomas.
Thank you. And could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Ms. Thomas?
Well, you know, I'm a blackjack dealer. I'm a Scorpio. Favorite color is lilac.
What is it that you do for a living?
I work in the Blackbeard Casino as a dealer, mostly for blackjack, but sometimes for poker as well. I don't like poker as much, but the tips are a lot better. And I mostly work in the VIP room, so that I meet all the celebrities coming in and out of Midland, which is it's cool, but it's also kind of intimidating.
Why is that?
Well, sometimes I have to deal for my boss, Avery Bancroft, or any other famous politicians like Chase Covington. So you don't want to mess up in front of people like that. It could be my job.
You mentioned Avery Bancroft and Chase Covington. Do you know them well?
They came in and played blackjack together pretty often. Not always together, but Bancroft would always play a few hands with some VIPs and make them feel special. Covington would...
Objection, Your Honor, to relevance.
What's the relevance to it?
Whether or not
I'm
Bancroft
asking you,
would...
I'm asking you.
Your Honor, this is relevant to the case in order to prove that Chase Covington and Avery Bancroft knowing each other is not necessarily indicative to them committing a bribery when in fact it is completely within the ordinary for the two to be meeting.
May I respond, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Whether or not Bancroft played a couple of hands of blackjack does not matter in this case. It does not make any fact in this case more or less likely.
If I may, Your Honor?
Yeah.
It actually does. It proves that the fact that he came to the casino and played with them proves that they were meeting for something other than the proposal, and that was not the sole topic of them ever meeting.
So you're saying that this evidence is relevant because it proves something at issue, which is that these individuals would meet for things that were outside of a conspiracy, outside of normal.
That would not be, yes, Your Honor.
And you're basis for that is that they're trying to assert that the meeting would have been for some nefarious purpose.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then I would overrule the objection.
Mr. Honor?
So when Chase Covington comes to the casino, where does he play?
Well, he would usually play in the VIP room, like I said. He won pretty big a few times, and he wouldn't be on the floor with everyone else. He thought he was too special for that.
Would you recognize a diagram of the
Objection,
VIP
Your Honor,
room?
speculation.
I would tend to agree. I will strike the last portion of your previous response as far as to what Mr. Covington was thinking or feeling. You may move on.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the VIP room that you mentioned, would you recognize a diagram of it where it's shown to you in court today?
Yes, I would.
Permission to approach closing counsel with what has been previously admitted as defense A.
I'm sorry, you're saying previously, are you showing previously admitted evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
No need to show them that. You need to go ahead and show them.
Absolutely, Your Honor. Do you recognize this diagram?
I do.
And were you the dealer at one of these tables?
Yes, I would.
Did you see Chase Covington and Avery Bancroft playing cards at these tables?
Yes, I did. They were at my table.
Could you please point to which table that was?
It was this table.
Let the record reflect that the witness is pointing to the table directly in front of the fountain.
Is that a table number? Or
This table.
And where were they seated?
They were seated at these two seats in the middle, but with one between them.
Your Honor, point of order, may I see what the examiner is referring to?
well, are you asking to see the exhibit?
I want to see what he is exactly pointing out.
Then would you like to move so you can see what he's,
Yes.
is that what you're asking? You may move so you can see what he's showing this witness.
Could you please point to the table and chairs again?
This is the table I was dealing at, and Avery Bancroft and Chase Covington were sitting at these two seats.
And was that at all unusual?
No, it was not. As I said before, they often came in and played some hands together.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any call limited?
Yes, Your Honor.
The floor is yours, sir.
You've often seen Chase and Mr. Covington and Mr. Bancroft play blackjack at tables, correct? Okay. And Mr. Covington would usually lose a ridiculous amount of money.
I wouldn't say usually. He won pretty bad sometimes, but he also won pretty big sometimes.
Well, when Covington did win, it was when he was playing with Bancroft, right?
He won sometimes playing with Bancroft, but he also won on his own a few times, as I've seen.
I want to talk about April 16th. Bancroft and Covington both sat at your table, right?
Correct.
And they both had briefcases.
Yes.
And no one has ever had a briefcase in the VIP room before, right?
Not that I've seen.
While they were playing at your table, they seemed different from usual, right?
What do you mean by that?
Well, before, they seemed different from usually playing, right?
I'm not sure what you mean by different.
In your words, they seemed different, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance?
Your Honor, we are trying to prove in our burden here today that Bancroft and Covington switched briefcases, and whether or not they were different would help prove that they might have had some alternative motives for playing at this blackjack game.
Who was different?
Mr. Covington and Mr. Bancroft.
And you're saying there's evidence, you're trying to use this question to establish they were different from some other time period?
But they seemed different from normal in their habits.
Their habits were different than normal. Well, I would overrule the objection as far as that it's being relevant. I mean, it's clearly relevant to the conduct of those two parties at the time. But what I would state is that if you want this evidence to show that they were different from some other time period, You need to establish a foundation for her to make that comparison.
And if I may proffer, we will do that with the next question. Now, they did seem distracted, right?
Right.
And at some point, a regular came to the table, and they exchanged in some conversation. And then Mr. Bancroft and Mr. Covington each left with a briefcase. Right. Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Any further questions?
Brief redirect, Your Honor.
Floor is yours, sir.
Ms. Thomas, at any point while you were the dealer, did you see them switch the briefcase?
No, I did not.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any further questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
At this time, I would like to ask that my witness be excused from the stand, Your Honor.
Permission granted, thank you for your time, ready for check. Are there any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the defense would like to call Chase Covington to the stand. Chris Grant for the defense. May I proceed?
You may.
Please introduce yourself, spelling your last name for the record.
Hello, I'm Chase Covington, Covington.
Do you know why you are here today?
Yeah, some people think that I took a bribe from Avery Bancroft to vote in favor of him getting a second casino.
Did you bribe Avery Did you accept the bribe from Avery Bancroft?
Of course not. I would never do such a thing.
Or did you vote in favor of Avery Bancroft getting a second casino?
Yes, but I wasn't the only one. My colleague also voted for Avery Bancroft as well.
Why did you vote for Avery Bancroft's proposal?
There were two really good proposals in my head, anyway. Avery Bancroft and Shannon Starks. But in the end, it came down to experience.
What do you mean by experience?
Well, if we voted in favor for Shannon's proposal, we would be letting a professional gambler run one of the biggest businesses in Midlands. Don't get me wrong, I like Shannon, but she has no experience with being a businesswoman at all. I was not going to put her in charge of what would be a multi-billion-dollar business.
What about the experience of Avery Bancroft?
He has the experience. He has been the owner of the Black Bear Casino for years, and has done a successful job, I might add. I was on the fence at first about giving him a second casino, because owning just one has to be quite a handful. But after speaking with Bancroft, I decided that he could handle it.
Mr. Covington, did you hear the testimony in trial today?
Yes, I did. Everybody kept talking about these briefcases.
Did you have a briefcase?
Yes, just like the one they described. However, I don't think it looks as bad as everyone is saying it is.
Okay. Did you hear Hyatt's testimony today?
Yes.
Did you hear Hyatt say to Bancroft that he was going to need $250,000 reasons to vote for your proposal?
Yes, I did hear her say that.
Huh?
Objection hearsay.
Under what ground?
He's asking him to respond to an out-of-court statement being used to prove the truth of the matter asserted.
Okay. That's fine.
The statement was not out of court. He said it in his opening argument.
Well,
Can I respond?
you would agree with me that a statement made in opening is not evidence, right?
Can I talk to my co-counsel?
You may.
Corey Hyatt said it in his direct examination.
Would you disagree with that assertion?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, no, not to that, but he said that Bancroft said it, meaning that it's an out-of-court statement being used from Bancroft, meaning that it is still hearsay.
Was that statement elicited in court here today?
Not that Bancroft said it, Your Honor.
Who elicited it then? Did you elicit it out of one of your witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor.
That statement? And so are you objecting on the grounds that the way he phrased it, put it in someone else's mouth instead of your witness's mouth?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if he rephrased it, would you object
No, Your Honor.
and overrule?
Okay. Did you say that?
Yes. Yes, but it was not a money reference. I was just giving Bancroft a representation of what he needed to prove to me in order for me to believe that he could handle the load of 2 casinos.
So can you tell me what happened on April 17th?
I went to work, I voted for Bancroft because he was, in my mind, the best fit for the new proposal.
No further questions.
Madam Clerk,
You may.
as you sit on direct examination, you're part of the Midlands Gambling Commission.
Yes.
Now, I'd like to bring you back to something you heard Corey Hyde say on his direct examination.
Okay.
Corey Hyde said you often went to Avery Bancroft Casino to gamble,
Yeah.
and that you did so at high stakes.
Yes.
And Corey Hyde also talked about a meeting that took place between you and Avery Bancroft just 4 days prior.
Yes.
Devin DelSesto also talked about this meeting.
Yes.
Corey Hyde claimed you said that you needed 250,000 reasons to vote for his proposal.
Yes.
Hyde and DelSesto both claimed you asked for a new briefcase.
Objection to hearsay.
Respond.
Well, what grounds? What are you saying is hearsay?
They didn't elicit that statement in their directs.
What statement?
They needed a briefcase.
Response?
Your Honor, we did elicit both those statements from both Corey Hyde and Devin DelSesto.
Both those statements were objected to.
As far as the need for, I remember the statement saying that I had to get them, I got them a new briefcase, similar, familiar to the one that I had just gotten. Is that not what I heard? Somebody stating that they had got a new briefcase for this individual, and that it looked similar to the one that they saw on the video footage of the person leaving.
DelSesto said that in his direct, but Covington never actually said that in his meeting.
May I respond? I'm simply saying that DelSesto said that in his direct, not what Covington said.
Oh, I would agree with that, Jackson overruled.
Would you like me to re-ask the question?
Yes, please.
Hyde and DelSesto both claimed you asked for a new briefcase.
Did I ask for your briefcase?
Yes. Corey Hyde claimed to have seen Avery Bancroft putting $200,000 in a briefcase.
Who did?
Corey Hyde.
Yeah, you said that earlier, yeah.
And this occurred on April 16th.
She said, yeah, she said it happened on April 16th.
And Devin DelSesto claimed to have seen Covington with that very same briefcase.
Yeah.
You also heard your stepsister Tracy Menados come to the stand and talk about briefcases you brought home.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
She said you brought home several.
Yeah, I had a lot of briefcases.
No further questions?
I'd like to ask that my witness be excused at this time.
No objection, witness excused, thank you for your testimony, sir. Any further witnesses?
No, Your Honor, at this time, the defense rests its case in chief, and we ask for a brief 5-minute recess before closing arguments.
Any objection by the people?
No, Your Honor.
Recess granted, we stand in recess, come back in 5 minutes.